Well, first off, I want to thank Bowdoin College for hosting and doing a great job off campus. Not easy, a lot of work by their administration. And so I know our college is grateful for the work that they put in, and the town of Lewiston. So we're very grateful. I'm part of our program to be here in Lewiston, and the job that Bowdoin did, we're much appreciative for a great effort. Second, I'd just say before I get going on the game, our administration, our athletic director, Sue Viscomi, her first year, who's been very supportive of me and the team and our program, and Malcolm Huggins, our assistant, Mike Belak, our sports information director, all of them. Our team is very appreciative of everything you've done for us. The game itself, I thought was, I don't want to say as well as we could play, but the last 2 years in Lake Placid, most of you are probably there, I told you that, we got beat by a better team. And it's no discredit to Stephen's point. They were a very good team and they are opportunistic. But I think when we break the film down this coming week, I would say that we had more grade A opportunities, but the puck just didn't fall for us. So they were opportunistic tonight, and we didn't, make our breaks for whatever reason, and early in on that very first power play, Galati rips one, and the kid gets a piece of it. I thought their goalie played outstanding. I thought their team played outstanding. They're a very good team, and tonight they got the job done, and we didn't, but maybe I'm biased towards our guys, but very proud of their effort, and they hung in there again and did it as a team right down to the last few seconds. They tried to do it individually, which is a credit to them and to David Titanic's leadership for holding the guys together. And then just, to put it all into perspective of having the amount of new players that we had this year, and for them to come together and really make something special of it, as we said to them, is long after, someday they're thinking about this game, the friendships that they've made this year with 19 freshmen and the 5 transfers and the players that we had returning, those friendships that they developed over the course of this season, and maybe not as talented as the last group with the 4 Frozen Fours, but this group, they play as a team, and they stick up for one another. And from a coaching staff, when people ask you how do you measure success, I would say that, hey, whether we got here or not over the last few weeks, as a coaching staff, their success that is the definition of them coming together, playing as a team, and overcoming all the adversity, and no one with any expectations for us this year. So I couldn't be prouder of this group of guys. It's not taking anything away from the other teams that we've had that are very talented, but just an outstanding group of men. As we just said to them, when you get to this time of the year, all the teams have talent. All the teams are well coached. All the teams are well prepared. It usually comes down to, in our opinion, character. And our guys showed great character, and even though it didn't go our way.
Okay, open it up for questions.
Coach, just talk about your 2-man advantage to start at the third period, and what that could have done for the rest of the period for you guys if you converted.
Well, we weren't good enough in that area, absolutely. And we changed it this week, as the guys will tell you. We have a simple saying in our program, what are you doing and how's it working? And last weekend, we had the 5-on-3 at Babson, and we didn't convert. We had other 5-on-3 during the year, so we changed it up a little bit. Give the guys a fresh outlook and try to create a few, better looks, but it didn't materialize, as you could see. Our puck management with it, we weren't didn't seem like we were aggressive enough. Big David the one time drove deep and pulled up and got us set up quickly, but just little things, little attention to detail that for whatever reason mentally we were off on that, you know, and rush things and press things and whatever, but all those little things end up, you know, coming back to haunt you, but we had a lot of grade A opportunities that either their goalie made the save on or, you know, but I can go on and on. You have to finish your breaks, obviously, and we did it.
It seemed like the Pointers were able to maybe put a little more pressure on your defense than Bowden or Bass were able to do, especially early on in periods today. Can you talk about how your defense was able to respond against the more aggressive offensive team that you brought?
Well, hey, they're here for a reason. They're an outstanding team. They've got skilled players, you know. They scored a great power play goal. They had some other very good opportunities. You know, they had their grade A's too. I just felt that, you know, we had as many or more in the game. Forget the shot total. It was just the grade A's themselves. I thought our D did a pretty good job. You know, there were a few times where they're creative, but I thought for the most part we did a pretty good job. They were good and gritty around the net, and we, you know, could have done a better job there tying up sticks and engaging, but, you know, hey, they battled hard too, and it was a good hockey game. You know, this year it doesn't go our way, so there's no regrets. Right? We played hard. Maybe our execution could have been a little better here or there, but there's absolutely no regrets with the way our team played tonight.
This is for David and Sean. Just kind of walk us through that goal. First of all, you, David, with the setup, Sean with the finish. How did that develop?
Yeah, well, Shawnee, he found me in the middle there, and Montag did a good job driving the middle lane, so it opened up a lane to Shawnee coming in late, and dished the puck over to him,
And well, I don't know, I saw a wide open cage. Unfortunately, the guy got the stick on my shot, but it found a way. So, I mean, it was a good turning point for us and our momentum through the game.
Go.
It seemed that, you know, the game early on was very tight checking, and it almost seemed that may be the way that Stevens Point sort of wanted to play it. They wanted to manage the game a certain way. Did you feel that you had to sort of change your game plan? Or, I mean, how were you sort of changing on the fly as you were going? Because it seemed, that, especially later on in the game opened up more, and it was more and more solid.
Well, after the first period, I thought it was our transition game, you know, us trying to transition the puck. Those were our best opportunities, and trying to get pucks to the net and just create those hard-working goals like we did last weekend in Babson. And our puck management in our own end, we felt, you know, their D are solid, but their strength was their forward. So, hey, the more time we can spend in their offensive zone and keep it off their forward stick, make their D have to handle it, make their D have to retrieve pucks. We were hoping that we could wear them down with our strength, which is quickness and speed. But they transitioned the puck well too. You know, they got talented guys. You know, 13. He's a pretty special kid. 44 stud. You know, 77. You know, I'm seeing those guys in my nightmares already. So they're, you know, they play very well. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This question's for Matt. Kind of talk about the mentality you took into that third period, knowing your team needed you to kind of hold down the fort through the last 20 minutes, and it seemed like as the period went on, the Pointers kind of pressuring you, you kind of stood tall for that, especially in your first goal four.
Yeah, they brought a good offense all game long, and my mindset going to the third was just we got to try to keep it within one if we really want to have a chance to get back in, and we did a good job of that for the whole period, and we took it down to the very last second. It was just disappointing that we couldn't get the job done, but I mean, we maintained ourselves well, and we played a good hockey game, and like Coach said, and we just didn't find a bounce tonight that we needed necessarily that they did, so it made the difference.
Just going back on that point of, you know, you kept your team in the first period, making 17 shots. Are you a type of goaltender that likes to see a lot of shots early on?
Yeah, I mean, when you get shots early on in the game, it gets you into a rhythm and gets a good sweat on early and helps you get focused. But I mean, and when you're at a point in the season like this, we're expected, and I'm expected to, whether it's at the first 10 or the last 10, you got to help your team and hold down the net whenever they bring on an attack. And I was able to do that early, and we were able to capitalize early, so it worked out for our team at that point of the game.
Any other questions?
Yeah, just wait a second. You've talked about the losses in the past. This one sting a little more than those past ones? Just because the way the game played out and the way you were in it?
They all sting, but as a younger coach, many moons ago, I think it was selfish on my part that I felt, it was something that I did, or what could I do differently, or whatever. As I get a little older in this profession, the sting most is really for, David and Kyle Badham and our seniors. They're such a great group of guys and do everything that we ask about our program, not just on the ice, but lifestyle and academics and community service and all those things. I know you people get sick of hearing it, but for us, it really, I think that's what our culture of Oswego hockey is about. I think that's why we have the amount of fans that travel with us. And last weekend, the Babson at home, it's a pretty special place to coach and be part of a program. And it stings, because we'll certainly miss David and Kyle and everything that they brought to the program. That the same way the 14 seniors last year, it stung with the friendships that you develop, and that's the hardest part. But the most rewarding part, obviously, is them staying in touch with our program. And before today, I think every one of those 14 seniors emailed or texted or called or whatever. They stay part of our program. They're proud of our history and our culture.
Last question.
What do you think's in store for next year?
Well, as I said to my AD, this will probably be the last game or the last weekend where there's no pressure, that there was no expectations. That's a very good question, and I think unfortunately we'll be back to where it's been the last few years. When you get here, then everybody expects you to always be here. And we're accustomed to it, and it's a good thing. I'd rather have it that way than, the other way around. But it'll be a whole new challenge for our returners to manage a different scenario, So again, we talk about all the things that I mentioned. So we'll worry about that next year in the off season. But the expectations, I'm sure, will be high, and we'll have to work hard in the off season to manage those expectations and focus on what we can control.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.